we've seen a lot of big-time Nebraska football players enter the transfer portal over the past 4 days. So today's video, I'm going to react to every single one of those players. Is it a big loss? Is this player not a big loss? We'll go over every single one of them and why I believe really Nebraska is still in a very good spot for next year. So really quick, we have a lot to get into. Make sure to hit that like button. If you're fired up about getting some transfers in the portal in about a week, I'm pumped up about that. And really quick, we have been blowing up over the last couple of days, added about 500 new subscribers, road to 8,000. So if you are not subscribed, I post daily football content, talking Husker football every single day. So join the best Nebraska family here on Husker YouTube and subscribe. You will be thanking yourself that you did. But without further ado, let's get into it. Reacting to every single Nebraska player in the portal. And you guys know how we are on this channel. We are honest. I will tell you if I think a player's not a loss, if he is a loss, and anything in between for the Huskers. So let's get things started. Of course, we've already talked about these two guys, Malachi, Sincere. Those guys have been pretty well known for a while, so we won't really harp on them in this video. But let's particularly talk about the guys who've entered the portal over the last couple of days. I want to get things started, of course, with Mekhi Bayer. In my opinion, this is probably the second biggest loss for Nebraska out of the portal. Not to say this is a big loss, but we're talking about a guy in Mekhi Bayer who I really liked as a New Jersey player, started for Nebraska throughout this year, really good tackler, honestly pretty twitchy and athletic. But I will say this about Mekhi Bayer, although he probably would have started for Nebraska next year, we still feel really good about where this linebacker room stands. You still have young talent like Vincent Shavers, Willis McGahee. You're probably going to get a couple transfers in that room. You add a guy like Christian Jones, Dawson Merritt, Pierce Newberry. So although Mekhi Bayer is a little bit of a loss and it definitely hurts the depth, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not a do or die type of transfer. And we should also remember, before we go forward with this, none of these guys are guaranteed to leave Nebraska. We've seen players enter the portal and then put their name out, and Nebraska brings it back. That could happen with any single one of these guys. So I want to mention that around Mekhi Bayer, but a little bit of a loss, but none of these guys are really anything that we have to really be too mad about. Gabe Ervin, that was so expected. Nobody can blame him. He had a really good career with Nebraska, was here for 40 years. Just a career riddled by injuries, and unfortunately his production really dwindled as the years progressed. Wish Gabe Ervin well, but that's not a loss at all in that running back room. Here's the bottom line. You bring back Dante Dowdell for sure next year. You bring back Emmett Johnson for sure next year, and then you add a guy like Jamarian Parker, Connor Booth into that room. You might bring back Quinn Knives. We'll see about that. Again, you feel good about that running back room, so that's not a loss. Let's get to the next one. Jamari Butler, Jamari Butler is definitely a little bit of a loss, but I'm going to tell you guys this, okay? It hurts to lose a starter senior like Jamari Butler, but the worst thing that can happen to Nebraska in the portal is losing your young talent. If you lose your young talent, you are screwed. That's really killing your program. So although a guy like Jamari Butler hurts, he's a senior. He only has 1 year of eligibility left. He would have only impacted your program for 1 year. So I'm not really too mad about it. Like, yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. Jamari Butler told the fan base that he was coming back and then entered the portal a couple of days later. Like, that's pretty ridiculous to me. And he's a guy who underproduced this year, but we're kidding ourselves if we don't think he has phenomenal first-round draft pick upside. He does. He literally does. I mean, we're talking about a freak athlete, Ty Robinson. You know, he's going to have that Ty Robinson type of year next year where he just blows up. I truly believe it. So that's unfortunate. We'll see if he comes back because he did this once again. But it's not as big of a loss as some people may project it to be because, again, he's not young. He was only going to give us 1 more year anyways. So I feel good about where this defensive line still stands. I still feel pretty good about it. And again, we're going to add some portal guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. We will be fine, especially there. Vincent Jackson, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. This guy really did not play for Nebraska. Didn't really see a route for him to play either, which Vincent Jackson, the best, good guy. Let's move on. That's not a loss for the Huskers. And again, before we get to the next one as well, we got to remind ourselves, Matt Rhule's got to cut some players. Okay, and I don't know if this was a cut. Probably it might have been, it might have not been. But we have about 150 players on the roster right now. We have to get down to 105. We have to cut about 50 guys. Okay, Matt Rhule's going to have to make some scholarship guys probably leave. So, you know, don't go crazy if a player enters the portal because you don't know the circumstances there. You don't know if he was asked to leave or if he made the decision himself. I don't know. Let's get to the next one. Stephon Thompson. Again, not a loss here. He was only going to give you 1 more year. Didn't really play this year for Nebraska. Had some ups and downs, to say the least. I thought he played some of his best football at the end of the year against Wisconsin, against Iowa. But really, again, not a lot this year. Stephon Thompson, I think his best days are behind him when it comes to playing linebacker in college football. So not particularly worried. It does hurt the depth. And again, Nebraska needs to get like about 2 middle linebacker transfers. That's a must. You've got to do that with the guys that you've missed out on and the guys who've entered the transfer portal. But as for Stephon Thompson, he just wasn't really a great player for Nebraska this year, and he only has 1 year of eligibility left. So not freaking out about that one. Then we had some pretty interesting names drop on Tuesday. Daniel Kaelin. Now, Daniel Kaelin, first things first, this is the most unexpected, or not, this is the most expected thing we probably could have anticipated. Daniel Kaelin, let's be honest, was screwed by the coaching staff. The coaching staff told him that they weren't going to recruit Raiola. They ended up doing it. Daniel Kaelin felt betrayed. He tried to get out of his commitment last second. Well, he had like 2 days till signing that he couldn't, so he ended up sticking with Nebraska for a year and then enters the portal. I don't blame him. He was never going to play because Raiola is the guy going forward. So if he wants to play, he should have probably left, and he did just that. Daniel Kaelin's a good guy. He's an Omaha product. We wish him the best of luck. But again, not shocking there. And again, hopefully he bounces and gets to a good program and can get on the field. But that was not shocking. The staff did him dirty. Let's be real. The staff did him dirty. And I don't blame the staff. Obviously, they got a really good quarterback. They had to do what they had to do. But unfortunately, Daniel Kaelin, his trust was kind of broken at that moment in time. And that's why he's in the portal. But not shocking there. Obviously, Nebraska fans all wish him the best. This, in my opinion, is Nebraska's biggest loss. I will be honest with you. And I don't like it when some fans are like, Prince Wally Manmielen never produced for Nebraska. He never produced for Nebraska because we criminally underutilized this guy. He should have been on the field basically all of this year, and he wasn't. And when he did get on the field, he made plays. He got TFLs. He got tackles. He got to the quarterback. He got pressures. Okay, that's why I was talking about it in almost every single one of my game recaps this year. I said, Princewell needs more reps because when he gets in the game, he makes an impact. I don't know what's going on there. He constantly outplayed MJ Sherman in 2023 at the end of that year. Again, I told you guys earlier, it hurts losing your young talent more than anything. This is a guy that was going to start next year at that edge rusher spot. That's a loss. That is a big loss for Nebraska. Now, it's not, you can find a replacement pretty easily. I'll be real. Like the portal, we're going to get some good guys in the portal. I'm not going to sit here and overreact, but this is a loss for the Huskers. Like, I'll be honest with you. This is a guy who I truly believe has NFL aspirations. He's a freak athlete, long arms, great upside. He checks almost every single one of those boxes. Unfortunately, just didn't work out here in Nebraska. I hope we can throw money at him and maybe get him back. Because that's not one of those guys that I want back more than anything. So that's Prince William Manmielen. That's a loss. And again, people bring up the stats and say he never produced. It's because he didn't get on the field, and he should have gotten on the field because when he was on the field, he made plays. Again, I don't know. That was just this coaching staff in the past, and this year we know this puts the wrong personnel out there. So how can we trust them when they don't put Princewell out there? Okay, they didn't put Sear Wright on the field until injuries happened, and Sear Wright was one of our best defensive players. All right, so again, the staff's made some personnel mistakes. I think they might have made a mistake here with Princewell. He should have gotten the field more. I wish him best of luck. Hopefully he comes back. James Williams is a guy who did produce. He got, 7.5 sacks as a Nebraska Cornhusker. I'm on the record of saying James Williams is pretty overrated. I'm not going to lie to you. First off, James Williams is a great guy. Great guy, great football player, really good pass rusher. But some Nebraska fans were acting like we just lost a 5-star. James Williams, in my opinion, it was either a one-hit wonder, or again, he either had 2 sacks in one ball game, or he didn't make a single play. That's how it worked. It was either he dominated the ball game and got 2 sacks, or he didn't get a single tackle. And most of the time, it was the latter. He didn't get a single tackle. There was just 2 or 3 particular games where he got like 2 or 3 sacks, right? And he was a good pass rusher. But here's the thing about James is that he's not big enough to play D end, but he's not necessarily athletic enough to play outside linebacker / edge rusher. So I didn't really see too much of a spot for him. I'm not mad about this loss. I'm really not. We can replace this guy pretty easily. And then Kai Wallen, who's not listed here, entered the portal last night. Not mad about Kai. Kai Wallen never played. He never played. He was a JUCO guy. Not concerned about Kai Wallen. But I will say this. We lost a lot of defensive linemen. We lost a lot of linebackers in the portal. That's, again, we got to rehaul this entire defense. And Dana Holgorsen said that yesterday. If you listen to Dana Holgorsen on the radio, he said, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to probably, have about 20 guys on visits. Now, we're not going to take 20 guys, but we're going to have about 20 guys on visits, and we're going to be pretty aggressive. So if you guys are expecting 5 transfers this year, not happening. We're getting 10 to 15, especially on this defensive side of the football. Got to overhaul this D-line, linebacker, and secondary core. So that's my reaction to every single player that's leaving. I'm on the record of saying I think the worst has already happened. I don't expect to lose really anybody more. That's a good player. Like, we're not going to lose Dillon. We're not losing any key running backs. Jacory's locked in. If you guys need an update there, Jacory's locked in. All the wide receivers are locked in. Jalen Lloyd ain't leaving. Carter Nelson ain't leaving. Offensive linemen aren't leaving. I think the worst has already happened. If we see more guys enter, they're really non-sequiturs. They're the guys who really wouldn't got on the field anyway. So that's good to know. All right, that's my reaction to every single player in the portal. Let me know your thoughts. What are some losses? What are some guys you're really not that mad about? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to like button and subscribe. To all of the guys leaving Nebraska, we wish you guys the best of luck, and we're rooting for you going forward. Again, hopefully you guys have good careers. You are Huskers for life. All right, guys, go be great, go Rhule, and see you in the next one.